hymns.
Hello everyone, I am Jenny Axler, back again with another SensePlayer video. On this one, we're going to explore the OCR function. We'll first show you how to get set up for best OCR results, and then we'll take a look at all the features and functions of the OCR program itself. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so first we want to get set up. So we have our SensePlayer here, and there are two methods that you can use. You can do this with the OCR stand or without. Regardless, you want to be about 10 inches above the document. So I have an 8.5 by 11 brochure here, and something to keep in mind for best results. Now, granted, it will correct for some angle correction. Still, if you keep in mind that if the device is in portrait mode, you generally want your page in portrait mode, and if the device is in landscape mode, you generally want your document in landscape mode, it will probably help the process and the result. So I have the document in landscape mode in front of me, and one method you can use is to try and sort of center it. Now, granted, I'm as blind as many of you watching this. And so the thing that you also want to keep in mind with this is your camera position. So right now I have my device pointing to the right, and so I've offset it a little bit to the right, and I still don't even know that I'm centered. You may have to do some experimenting with this and see just how you want to do this. But what I've done is I've put my elbows on the table, then I've put the device in landscape mode and joined my hands above. And this is gonna be about the right height, at least for me. Some of you taller guys with longer arms, you may have to span your arms, or your elbows rather, a little bit wider apart when you join your hands in the center to get the, the 10-inch height. But for me, it works to pretty much put my elbows shoulder width apart. And that'll probably be the case for maybe most women, I don't know. But again, one of the things that even I have to keep in mind, and I was sitting here holding this right now and I kind of tilted it, you've got to watch that kind of thing as well. We do have guidance, and I'll explain that later and show that later when I talk about the features of the program. So we do have guidance that'll tell you need to go up and left, down and right, etc. So it is possible to use this method. However, I have to be honest, I prefer method 2, and that is to use our OCR stand. So again, just as a reminder, it looks like this. I'm going to point it at me because this is the direction that you'll actually use when you're taking an OCR scan. So the camera, of course, then is on the bottom of the device, and I want to line that up with the hole on the bottom of the dish on the top of the OCR stand. It all slides right in, it's built for it. So now when you do use the OCR stand, you want to put the material in portrait mode. So I'm holding it in portrait mode. I'm going to stick it underneath now on the OCR stand. I'll turn this around so it's easier to see it on the camera here. So you're going to line up the back of the material with the back of the lip of the OCR stand, basically, using, of course, the flat tray on the bottom. So if you do this, you have everything at the right height, the right position, and you don't really have to think about it, and it doesn't matter what the view guidance tells you, all of that. So this to me is especially useful if you're going to batch scan. I recognize that if you have a page, you're out in public and you have one page of, scanning, this is why I showed you the first method. But I think generally if you're going to have something set up in your house where you're going to scan often, like, some place that you constantly use to scan mail, or if you're going to scan a book or something with multiple pages, this is very definitely the way to go. So let's give it a try. Okay, so I am at my main menu, and one thing we have not talked about is the fact that you can actually use the number keys to open programs quickly. So the OCR program is number 6 on the device, so I'm just going to press the number 6.
OCR.
And it opens OCR.
Take picture button.
And it lands me on the take picture button. And for those who can see it, you now have a live camera view of what is underneath the camera. Right now, this is the same Braille Sense 6 brochure that we were just using to demonstrate. And I'm just going to press the OK key to take a picture.
Recognizing.
And I'm going to let it recognize here.
Loading. Specifications Braille Sense 6 Braille Sense 6 Mini 32 refreshable Braille cells and cursor routers standard SD card USB memory Type C. Type A 20 refreshable Braille cells and cursor routers micro SD.
Okay, so this is a table of columns, and I did this on purpose. So it is sort of trying to straighten that out and read you the same sort of things, but you're going to see a couple of items on the 32 and then see a couple of items on the 20, it looks like. It looks like it's recognizing fairly well, but you will probably have to interpret the chart just a little bit. So you want to be careful of several things when you're shooting pictures. One, of course, is the lighting. I do have the flash on, and it is on by default, and usually you are going to want it on. But if for some reason your area is flooded with light, if you have a strong, sun shining through your window or something like that, or just a very harsh light just above you, it may make a difference in terms of, if for some reason it's not recognizing well, that is something to check. You may need to turn the flash off. In my case, it's good to keep it on. Now, the other thing that you heard was a couple of beeps just before it took the picture. Those are to indicate that it is auto-focusing before it takes the picture. So right now, I'm going to press cancel, and let's try some different text.
Take picture button.
I'm placed again at the take picture area. Okay, so now we're going to try and take a picture of the beginning of a book. This is a book on flash fiction or an anthology. So this is going to be mostly straight up text. There is a small image in there near the bottom. I'm just going to press the OK key.
Recognizing.
And you heard it autofocus, take the picture, and now it's recognizing.
Loading. Flash Fiction Anthology Introduction 1 by Christopher Fielden. Welcome to the 81 Words Flash Fiction Anthology. It gives me great pleasure to present 1,000 stories written by 1,000 authors as a celebration of storytelling diversity. Writers from every continent on our planet with the exception of Antarctica have contributed to this anthology, making it a truly global collaboration.
So as you heard, this came out quite nicely. There are a couple of other things that I want to show you here, but before I do that, we need to explore the menus just a bit. Now, one thing you need to understand is that when it recognizes and begins reading, it actually opens the document reader because it's reading the text file result. So I need to actually press the cancel key to go back to the OCR program.
Take picture button.
And now I've returned to the OCR program. I'm going to press the menu key now.
Menu opened. OCR files dialog menu item.
So the first option here is OCR files. Now this is going to be your result files. So if for some reason you wanted to read a text file that you've recognized previously, you can access those here. If I arrow down,
Image files dialog menu item.
Here are the image files. Now these files are the images that you've taken previously. So if for some reason you wanted to try to re-recognize a file, you could do that here. I'm going to arrow down once more.
Scan external file dialog menu item.
This scan external file allows you to scan, say, image-based PDFs or even JPGs that might have text in them. You can also access this function from the file manager. However, you can get to it here and it's automatically going to go to the import folder. So for easiest access, if you do want to scan external files, place them in the import folder under OCR. I'm going to arrow down again.
Scanning options dialog menu item.
What I really wanted to find is the scanning options. So I'm going to press the OK key here.
Scanning options dialog. Flash on 1-2 combo box.
You do have the flash option here that is also in the main dialog.
Batch scanning off 1-7 combo box.
This is something we're going to return to because I want to show you how this works. But for now, I'm going to continue to arrow down because I want you to be aware of all the options here.
Image area on 2-2 combo box.
So the image area option gives you a little bit, if for some reason there are problems, for example, with the contrast and background, if it's not clear, if there are images in the text, this is going to try and clarify if you have the image area turned on. So if for some reason you're having a bit of problems with your recognition, you might try experimenting with turning this on and off and see if that affects your result. If you know that you're going to scan a straight up textbook, you probably actually want to turn this off. Okay, I'm going to arrow down.
Preview area, off 1-2 combo box.
The preview area is what gives you the view guidance. Actually, that's what this means. So it's by preview area, it's going to tell you move up and left, move down and right, etc. So again, it'll give you sort of directions, and this is of course especially useful if you are not using the OCR stand. I'll arrow down.
Scanned file naming, date and time 1-2 combo box.
This just lets you determine how the scanned files are named.
Save image files, yes 1-2 combo box.
So you can choose whether or not to store the image files that you take. You might choose not to. If you know you just want the text files, you could turn this off.
Save OCR files, yes 1-2 combo box.
And again, this is going to default to on, but if for some reason you just scan mail and you don't actually want to keep storing all kinds of files, you could turn this off.
OCR analysis language setting, English 419 combo box.
So now you have the option to change the OCR language here. And this will support basically any of the localizations we support. We do have OCR languages for, and currently we are using the Abby OCR engine, so it should support any of our localizations that are also supported by the Abby engine. So now let's go back up to the batch scanning option.
Save preview image batch scan flash batch scanning off 1-7 combo box.
So there's not just a simple on-off toggle here. As you can hear, there are 7 different options. So I'm going to arrow to the right.
Manual 2-7 combo box.
So the second option is manual, and this means that you will save all of your files or all of your scans in one particular file. However, you will press actually the number 1 key to continually keep scanning. So you press the OK key to start it, then you press the number 1 key for each page. Now I'm going to continue to the right.
5 seconds, 3-7 combo box.
The rest of these options actually are related to how long between scans. So you can actually have it automatically continue scanning every few seconds so you don't have to touch it. And this, of course, is going to be especially useful if you're scanning a textbook. You are turning the pages. You can just go until you're finished. And I'll keep going.
6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, off 1-7 combo box.
And then we wrap back around to the off option. I'm going to actually choose 5 seconds.
Manual 5 seconds, 3-7 combo box.
And I'm going to press the OK key to save my settings.
Setting complete. Batch scan button.
So now instead of the take picture button, it says batch scan. I'm actually going to choose a different book that's going to be a bit easier to batch scan. So now I'm going to take a picture of a poetry book. And something to note about this, it does have a very small print, so it may not come out as perfectly. This is going to take 2 pages at a time, so it's a really good book for continuous scanning because I can just turn 1 page. And I did set this for 5 seconds, so when I press the OK key, it actually will take 5 seconds for the first scan. It gives you time to get set up if for some reason you're not. So I'll press the OK key right now. And after 5 seconds, you're going to hear the little auto focus beep. There it is. And now I need to keep moving. And we have page 2. We've got page 3. And we'll do 1 more. And 5 seconds goes pretty fast. Okay.
Recognizing.
I'm pressing the OK key to start the recognition. And again, it'll take a little bit longer because we have 4 pages instead of 1. But you do have to make sure and get your hands out of the way and all that as you do this. So it should start reading here in a moment.
Loading. 138 diction for the tireless heart within the little lady with rod that made them rise from their noon apple dreams and scut 15 goose fashion under the skies. But now go the bells, and we are ready. In one house we are sternly stopped to say we are vexed in her brown study, lying so primly propped 20 John Crow ransom 1888-1974. Tell all the truth but tell it slant to all the TMT.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the reading. So actually this came out pretty well, but again, this is a poetry textbook with a lot of footnotes. So you heard those numbers and a bit of text that seemed a bit out of order. Again, what you scan is going to make a difference on the result, and there are some things that it is a bit hard for it to detect and figure out. Because this was all text, I did actually turn the image area to off, and this did improve the scan, just something for you to note. So again, this is going to work pretty well, but with all OCR things, there are things to keep in mind. You do want to keep your hands out of the way. You need to make sure that you understand your lighting. You want to make sure and try to align the text as straight as possible. All these things are going to make a difference on the scan that you get, but I think using the OCR stand will seriously improve your results. For more information about any of our HIMSS products, you can visit our website at www.himsintl.com or send us an email at hims@selvishc.com. Thanks for watching.